Before we end tonight's bulletin, it's a form of diabetes that's usually diagnosed in children and young adults. And we're talking to you about it because it is World Diabetes Day today. According to the Health Ministry, less than 5% of those with diabetes, or around 18,000 people, have type 1 diabetes. Now, with it being less common than its type 2 relative, doctors and patients are calling for more public awareness about the condition as we mark World Diabetes Day.
This is a pump.
Go Wee Hao was 10 when he felt tired and thirsty all the time. Checks showed he had type 1 diabetes. Since then, the 43-year-old has had to visit the doctor regularly to keep his condition in check. And it wasn't always a bed of roses, as Wee Hao faced other struggles after being diagnosed.
As a child of that age, you don't want to feel different from other children, and you know, most importantly, you don't want to be looked down upon. And so I did not share my diabetic condition with anyone.
The main difference between the two types of diabetes lies in a hormone called insulin, which helps the body use sugar for energy. Type 1 diabetics are born with the condition, and their pancreas naturally does not produce enough insulin. On the other hand, type 2 patients are unable to utilize the insulin effectively. However, a lack of awareness means there are still misconceptions.
The first one is that diabetes happens generally among older people or overweight people, and that's simply not true. The second thing is that type 1 diabetics can eat sweet things.
Lifelong insulin replacement is the only treatment for type 1 diabetes that's currently available. However, some patients tend to feel self-conscious when they go out and are seen injecting insulin with pumps or a needle and syringe.
They're not doing drugs. They're actually delivering a life-saving medication. Individuals with type 1 diabetes do not get diabetes just because they've eaten the wrong food. In fact, there's nothing that could have prevented the onset of type 1 diabetes, and so, they shouldn't be judged.
To dispel the myths, a children's picture book was launched in June this year. The Health Ministry is also working on more reference materials. It's also facilitating negotiations on the price of drugs and devices needed by patients. This will help increase their access to treatments to improve their quality of life.